was shaking, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the DisJointed Food Biz. Here, as always, with Thor Markey.
Hello, hello.
We're still trying to, we got a new little setup here that we're doing, and we're still trying to figure out the logistics of everything. So if we're like, hey, how's it going, man?
You're in my bubble.
Yeah, I know. We're like, personal space, shit. You know.
You're touching me.
Right. Well, that's because I've got like a little tiny $27 Logitech camera, but we're going to have some better cameras next week. So we're excited to actually, put in an effort.
Look decent?
Yeah.
All right.
We're combing our hair before we go out of the house is what we're doing. And I'm just, it's a whole new world. I didn't realize you could do it. Oh, man. How's it? We work at the same place. I was going to be like, how's the week going? Wait, I already fucking know. Never mind.
Yeah, my week sucks. Welcome to the restaurant industry.
Holidays are always kind of weird, man, because it's people are like, what are you going to do for the holidays? I'm like, what holidays? It's Tuesday to me. That's what it is.
Yes.
And it's kind of a sad thing because I feel like I'm missing out on something that the rest of the country's enjoying. They're like, hey, we're going to enjoy some time with family. I'm like, huh? Like, the only way you've been able to do that is you've managed to get most of your family to work.
Family? Okay. Touche. Half of my family is working with me right now.
Yeah, three-quarters of the Markey house.
Yes, that's staffing issue, though, and, you get what you can get. But, yeah, I mean, missing out on...
Which, by the way, that is the most Mexican thing I've ever seen of anybody. Viva la raza, Thor Markey.
Hey, it's human.
Yeah,
it's human. That's
totally.
all it is. But, yeah, I mean, in this industry, it is just another day, unfortunately. And I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't know how many turkeys I've missed out on.
Pretty much, man. I mean, what was the strangest thing is that last night at work, I don't know how many people were really requesting turkey. So many folks were ordering turkey tonight. I'm like, but every time I was like, "Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you not get enough?" Or
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe their kids didn't invite them over now. They're like,
I think
what?
Last 2 days I've gone through at least 60 pounds of turkey.
Yeah.
Cut and slice. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Didn't you just eat a freaking bird where you had to unbuckle your pants? Turkey coma. I mean, I didn't. Well, kind of, but, it's a little different. But you getting turkey after? Go get some Chinese.
Yeah. Stop being racist is what we're saying here on the DisJointed Food Biz. Stop. Yeah, pizza. That's fine.
I mean, come on. I mean, the only places that should be open, and, I mean, we were talking about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Holidays come around, Christmas was a big one. Thanksgiving was a big one, too.
Right.
But the only places, the gas station was open for a couple hours in the morning.
Right.
That was it. Then you had your pizza place or your Chinese place.
Mm-hmm. Your grocery stores were open till like 1, usually.
Yeah, depending on the grocery store, some of them were closed.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's yes, you can make money on that day as a business person.
Absolutely.
But let's give your employees a little loyalty and a little happiness to go spend it with their families. Nowadays, everybody's open.
Oh, what's the strangest thing is that on one of the food, because we Thor and I populate quite a few groups on Facebook on the restaurant industry because we'd like to know what other folks are thinking about. Sometimes it helps get topics and stuff. And by the way, we do have a guy who's really into marketing and does marketing for food and beverage places. He's expressed interest in coming on the show, but as soon as I get the new camera, we'll get things worked out so it looks nice. And we'll do that interview through Skype.
Have to look professional.
Exactly. We'll actually have to shower and shit. But the one of the things that was so interesting is one of the posts was like, "Hey, who here is going to be open on the holidays, and what's your experience with it?" And what was so funny to me, anyways, is most of the owners. I mean, a lot of the owners were kind of like, "No, I'm closed that day. Just it doesn't make sense to be open because." We're a college town or whatever, right?
Sure.
And
right.
So there's all these different reasons and stuff, but there's a lot of folks who are, it does make sense for them to be open. But the thing is like, oh, no, my staff totally loves it. I put it up. It's a volunteer only, and they really want to get those shifts. No, they fucking don't. All right? I'm telling you right now, they don't. All right? If it wasn't the fact, like, if they had a choice between spending some time with their family or going in like, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Maybe actually, you know what? I take that back. If they have a lot of single 20-somethings who don't really, they're not going to go home for Thanksgiving,
right,
and they don't have kids, then yeah, I can totally understand people wanting to work that.
But I mean, even then, those clientele aren't going out and spending $20. They're getting the cheapest thing to fill their belly and get the hell out of there. You know, because let's face it, when you're single, going out to eat is depressing, let alone on a holiday. All right, unless you're like I said before, a pizza joint, a buffet,
Right.
or a Chinese place, you're not going to make a whole lot of money. Even as a bar, yeah, you get a crowd, but I mean, it's going to be a depressing set.
Pretty much, it usually is, man. And that's that. I guess the what I wondered if there was like a disconnect that they had where they're like, no, all the employees love it. They really look forward to it. I'm like, what?
What world are they living in?
Exactly. And I'm like, it's kind of strange. Like in this one particular group, I mean, when they said, "What's your biggest challenge or your biggest headache in the industry?" Right? And they all chime in: waiters, staff. Yeah,
Period.
but mostly like I hate dealing with, the hourlies and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. That's not good.
No.
Those are the people that actually make that gear work. It's kind of don't when you see that you made 20 grand this week, don't get it twisted. Don't seem to think that, oh no, I made 20 grand. Like, no, you were leading the helm.
On the joint, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were leading the helm on that. Absolutely, that's true. But your team made 20 grand, not you just by themselves. So that I thought was really, really kind of strange.
Well,
so
not only that, as an owner operator, okay, it's the one time a year. Yes, you could make money. Yes, you might not make money. Yes, it's another day that you would have to grow the business because it's a special occasion. But it's the one time a year you can get a day off. I mean, really. You know, if you own your place, you're in there 24/7. You can close down and take a day.
yeah.
It's okay.
Well, you can close down one day a week, and actually, you know what? Chick-fil-A proved that to everybody, where that guy's like, fuck everybody.
Man,
I'm closing on Sunday. Keep it up. I'll close on Saturday, too. See what you're going to do with that, my chicken.
Don't get me wrong. I got a buddy, in Connecticut, runs a 5 and Dime. He's closed Sundays and Mondays.
Right.
He's open for breakfast and lunch, and that's it.
Well,
All right. And, I mean, the guy does phenomenally well for what he does. He closes 2 weeks out of the year for spring to take a vacation, and he's closed on the holidays.
wow, nice.
All right. But, I mean, he's in there at 4 in the morning, opens his place, closes his place, does everything else with it. And, yes, he's got staff. But, it's acceptable. And, of course, he's got Sundays and Mondays off. The guy's living the dream as a restaurateur.
Right.
2 days off. You're not worrying about nothing. Your place is doing phenomenally well. You know, you can close down the restaurant for 2 weeks and still survive, and your staff loves you for it. You know
That's something I've seen. Like there's a restaurant in Tempe, Arizona called House of Tricks, and most of their seating is outside on a patio. So they've got misters, and it's been there forever. So they've got all of these trees and foliage and stuff protecting it from the sun. So it's a great place for to go there for the early lunch or a late dinner, even when it gets really hot. But they even know that when it's in June or August, they're like, yeah, nobody's going to eat here. So we're going to give you guys your vacation pay for these 2 weeks.
Right.
I hope you claimed all your tips, because if you didn't, that's not our fucking problem.
Right.
But here you go. And we're going to be closed for 2 weeks. I think that's a big thing. I think it's also the opportunity, I think, that's missed between some businesses. Actually, you know what? I'll even say with corporate restaurants, because those are the ones I've had more experience with, is that that is such a great opportunity to show that you care about your staff, and it's wasted twice a year.
Absolutely.
On Christmas and on Thanksgiving.
Absolutely.
And
and a lot of that is because, let's face it, majority of the corporations running out there run it too much like a business off Wall Street.
Totally.
They're not restaurateurs half the time. The CEO and presidents are just that, CEO and presidents of either big 500 corporations, whatever. But they don't get it. They don't understand. All they think and see is money.
Right.
How to increase and how to keep going and making it, And little things like giving you staff the day off for frickin' holidays, huge.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you got to figure, too. I mean, and honestly, let's face it, as an owner, as a manager, if you're doing voluntary work on Thanksgiving, for one, you should be paying time and a half.
Right, totally.
It's a holiday.
Absolutely.
And I'm willing to bet you half of the restaurants out there don't.
Probably not.
If not all. All right. Not only that, for everybody that's making tips, because let's face it, the minimum wage for servers is below minimum wage.
Right.
Which means all you idiots out there tipping 2%, you suck. Yeah. All right? Because servers make less than minimum wage. They live on the tips. So what does Thanksgiving tell your staff? I got a month until fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You know, you got a family of 4 that you're feeding, and now you got to come up with frickin' Xboxes and everything else. You know, you got a month. Of course they want to work Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
They're hoping people are generous and they can make a month's pay in a day.
And it's kind of like Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. It can go either way in a big way.
It really can.
By the way, I've noticed I'm checking the viewers and stuff on here, and I see we've got a couple of people watching, but nobody's showing up. That means that they're not members of Twitch. So signing up for Twitch is easy. You don't have to do the Prime, guys, but that's basically, if you do that, then you can comment, or you can chat in the chat rooms as well and stuff if you have any questions. Or if you just say, hey, I don't want to do that, you know what? You could also text me, or just send me a tweet here at DisJointed Films. We'll be more than happy to answer your question, assuming it has something to do about the restaurant bill, the restaurant industry, and not about our dicks. Okay. I'll throw that in there.
Milner's great.
Yeah, exactly. You're the only one who can get away with calling that your dick. What would you call that? My name's Thor, moron.
You're not worthy to lift it. Sorry.
That's nice. Yeah, that's the. It's the craziest thing. I remember the only time I've ever worked a holiday where it really worked out in a good way. Not, like, oh, we made a lot of money on that Thursday. I'm like, yeah, I always make money on Thursdays. Tell me how that was any different, Like,
yeah.
So, it's if it wasn't a holiday, I still would have made that same amount of money.
Okay, and let's think about this.
Mm-hmm.
You and I got Thanksgiving off.
Right.
Family's in town. Just say we have the next day after.
Right.
All right. We had turkey Thanksgiving. Where do you think we're, say you've 12 family members.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you're going to eat with 12 family members and keep it reasonable?
Yeah, the only way, Golden Corral, basically. I'm sure they were freaking slammed craziness. I'm going to do this so that way the information will pop up there.
Yeah, no worries.
It's...
I mean, I'm not taking... Well, even say my family left, I'm not taking my wife and kids out to steak the day after Thanksgiving. I still got a bird and pounds of leftover meat sitting in the fridge.
Yeah, and you know what? One of those kids didn't eat all their dinner, so fuck that. You ain't getting McDonald's for a week until I see that turkey gun.
That's right, man. Let's face it, you make cold sandwiches, you make hot sandwiches, you make turkey salad, you make everything with turkey until it's gone.
Wow.
But, then again, times have changed. Nobody's cooking at home, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think the whole concept of Thanksgiving is going to change drastically in about 15 years.
Oh, it's going to be gone.
No, when the millennials are basically in their 30s and 40s and stuff.
They're all going to go get duck.
What's up, Mr. Divian? How's it going, John? He's a guy who's has about the same amount, if not more, experience. He's about to get back in the restaurant management game.
Don't do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell him. Like, dude, we'll just start streaming. We'll just Twitch and everything. But he's got a wife and 4 boys. So trying to convince him.
Hot dog stand.
Dude, there you go, man. Hot dog stand right there. Boom. Be your own boss. Granted, there's no way. Like, oh, Sarah. So I'll be like, can I tell you something? That's the stupidest fucking idea I ever heard. All right?
Probably.
Which it is, but you know what? Go for it.
Depends on what city you're in.
Yeah.
If you're in New York, there's $1 million hot dog stands out there.
Oh, I'm sure, man. Well, let's see. He's in North Carolina, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Some good areas in there.
I forgot. Was it North Carolina? Or I don't know. John, where are you from, man? Or where are you living now? I totally forgot. So he'll answer that in a second. But, yeah, you know what? I still want to do, maybe I'll do this for Christmas, is I want to go from restaurant to restaurant that are open on Christmas morning and just to videotape and talk to the managers and talk to the I'll do it off
Well,
camera.
I don't think you could do it in corporate places because disclaimers and everything
No, they
else.
wouldn't talk to you unless for some. Greensboro, North Carolina. Okay.
Okay. All right. Greensboro's a nice area. Lots of potential. Barbecue joints and everything else.
Yeah,
Hook up a trailer, man. Start doing it.
exactly. Just start slinging the dogs. Put your wiener out there, is what we're saying, John. You know you want to do it. You've been. I've seen you when you get drunk, dude. I know that fucker's flopping out anytime. Now actually, it's funny. One of my old bosses, Paul England, which hopefully he'll get on the show at some point. But that's his whole goal. That's what he wanted to do. Just run a hot dog stand. That's
Man, there's nothing wrong with it if you're in the right place. I mean, like I said, there's a hot dog stand that I when I go back home, go down to what is it? The little park there south of frickin' Wall Street, man. That there's a hot dog cart that the guy's been there forever. His dad owned it before him. He took it over, and I'm telling you, man, the profits that this guy was talking about one day was just crazy off of a hot dog stand.
Oh no, I could believe. Whoa, is this only? I mean, for New York, it's what, $2 a hot dog, right?
I think now, last time I went, he was like $3.50 or something. But I
$3.50?
think you got a canned soda with it.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, you're just like there's no preparation to it for the most part, other than putting sauerkraut. And as long as you don't put too much sauerkraut on shit, then you're
Well, yeah, and the carts will cook everything for you while you're wheeling and dealing.
right.
And well, I mean, New York now they're renting out sidewalk space.
Oh, really?
Have you? Yeah, you get the permits so that you can put the newsstand and stuff on.
Oh, okay.
So you're buying like a 5-foot square of sidewalk space.
That's crazy. Imagine because there's so many fights that probably break out, man.
Oh yeah, I was here first.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think even when it comes to like performing in the subways and stuff, you have to get a license for that. And there's a scheduled time and place that you can play your music in a subway. You can't just
Yeah,
go
I don't
down
know.
there and just start jamming away, from what I understand.
I mean, last time, well, I would imagine not. But I mean, what's the fine for doing that?
I don't know. They pluck your
$50.
strings or something. I don't know. Could be New York. I don't know. They're like, we're gonna have to confiscate. They put a boot on your saxophone. Is what they do.
I mean, so is that the way for the city to make money off what people are dropping in, or what?
I think that's another way too. Yeah.
Or
to be
is it
honest with you.
for more for loitering purposes?
I think all of that, because if you think about as much money as like if you're a good performer, and there was quite a few in New
there's a
York,
bunch.
yeah, exactly, just in the subway and just hearing the music of it, those guys, I can't imagine how much money they're making per hour. So
Well, I don't know. Half the New Yorkers just walk by.
that's true, but there's a lot of them though. Even if
Yeah, okay,
even if
I'll give you
98% of the New Yorkers just walk by and don't, that 2% that do drop $1 in there,
Yeah.
holy shit, that's a lot of cash. So I
Yeah.
think, like, oh, we're here for an hour, and then we move along, and another band comes in, or another performer or something. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who knows? I tried being a street performer for about a week back in Tempe. I was just trying to do weird shit on there. Like, I would read Dr. Seuss, but as a Southern Baptist minister.
Dude, that's just wrong.
Oh, dude, it was great. Or I would just pretend like I'm being really deep while I'm reading The Tao of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee.
Nice.
Just weird things like that. And then like 1 week later, I started seeing these weird performance art pieces of folks going out there just dressing like the Grim Reaper, and I'm like, okay, well,
What was that movie? The guy gets up on stage with like a hacky sack or something. It was some chick flick.
I don't know.
Some performance art thing, and he had a hacky sack, and he goes through the whole thing. But anyway,
Jenny's nice enough where she doesn't make me watch too many chick flicks.
that'd be nice.
Yeah, Sam was like, hey, we're gonna watch Terms of Endearment. Really? I'm gonna punch myself in the face till I pass out.
And of course, she waits till I'm off.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Why did you wait? You could have watched this while I was at work. Why did you need me?
so some of the websites get off because we're kind of veering there.
Yeah, really? Yeah.
Some of the pages we were on, I'm starting to see a trend. A lot of these people, it looks like they're getting into the business. They don't know what they're doing.
Right.
All right, they're asking for all this help.
Okay.
Oh, I need this form, and oh, I need that form. And look, all these forms, you can go to Google, get a basic, but eventually you're going to have to change the form to your restaurant because every restaurant's unique, including in the corporate world. There's not the same exact checklist because they can't build exact. Your setup's always going to be different. Yeah, the food's going to be the same, whatever else, but eventually you're going to have to put the time in and do the work. Nobody's going to do the work for you.
Right.
And I don't understand it. These guys are
You have a
gotta
training
be
checklist?
spending- yeah,
This was
a
the weirdest one.
closing checklist.
Yeah, this was another one that I thought was kind of crazy. He's like, "Do you guys have any training manuals?" I'm like, "How do you want your store to run?" Because that's kind of what you would use the training manual for. Like, I want the store to run one
Apparently
way.
it's not
I'm
running.
gonna do this. I know I mentioned this guy ad nauseum, but Mr. Nick back in New York City, the sign off sheet, one of them that he has, like, he would have stuff on there like, if you come into work twice, you're fired. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. All right. I don't want to hear your advice on what I should do for the business. I've been doing this for a lot longer than you.
Okay.
If I want your opinion, I'll ask for it. But he would put stuff like that on paper, and basically that any violations of this was probable cause for termination. So that's how he wanted his restaurant to run. I can't be angry. When I saw that, I'm like, what kind of egotistical prick would do this? But you know what? Like all things with this guy, he was right. Like, because he wanted the restaurant to run a certain way.
Sure.
And that's what he did. Now, granted, was it the nicest way possible? Absolutely not. It totally wasn't. But it was insanely effective. That's the reason why I stayed working for that guy for a year. Because I just, like, how does this guy do it,
Well, I mean, we I'm seeing it now. I mean, if you have a GM that's not laying down the law and making the guidelines very clear, it goes astray, and being an underling, you can't control it what the guidelines are. If they're very relaxed, then guess what? You're going to have a FUBAR running.
Yeah, totally. Or
if you keep it mainstream and you let everybody know up front and this is how it is, whatever else, that's how it's going to be. But again, you have to hold those standards too.
Yeah.
So
and have managers that can hold those standards too. That's part of what that job is.
I don't know about having on a thing to don't give me any suggestions.
Yeah.
I mean, even a crackhead can have a great idea every now and then.
Just start off your training book. First of all, welcome to the place. Second of all, fuck you.
Yeah,
okay?
Don't speak to me.
I don't want to.
Anything.
If I want your mouth to move, I'll shove my hand up your ass and do this. I miss New York.
You can get an idea from anywhere. But yeah, you have to lay down those guidelines, But again, that's the difference between somebody that works it and somebody that doesn't.
Right.
If you're going to be running a place, I don't care if it's a fucking gas station to a fucking sewing factory. You have to have guidelines before you even open the doors. How to stock things, how to do a certain sew, how to close the bar correctly. And, seeing on these pages all these people going, oh, I need opening lists, oh, I need closing lists, oh, I need... Dude, put the work in. For one, you might have a completely fucking different POS system. You might have a Z-tape, which I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
That's this one where you have to back up on a cassette like every evening, right? Yeah, Peter Piper still had that when I left about 15 years ago.
You had to turn the key from X to Z and then do a sales readout that way, and it'd print this fucking 6-foot slip, and you're like, God damn. So, I mean, it depends on how cheap you are, And if you're going to be that cheap and you're not going to have those guidelines for your own business, then you shouldn't be in business.
Right. Maybe this is two things. One, I think folks don't really know what they're getting into.
True.
When they get in there, and that happens a lot. And by the way, if you fall into that category, you didn't make a unique mistake. A lot of people have done that, right?
Right.
And the restaurant industry, it's not like rocket science or brain surgery in the fact that anybody could do it, but not everybody can do it. If that makes any sense.
No, I don't think. Well,
you know what I mean. Like some people have a mind
do it
for
if they want to push it and have the heart for it, because you can learn and grow.
Right, but I would say for the most part, either you really want. I've never seen anybody who hated the industry or working in the food service and then grew to love it. Either I think either they can do it or they can't. I know that's a real shitty thing to say. Granted, training is always paramount and stuff like that. And it's great when you have a new hire comes in and they just know how to do everything themselves.
Well,
but
No, I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I can kind of agree with that, dealing with certain franchisees, whatever else.
Mhm.
But, with that is they don't want to learn.
Yeah.
They think it's hey, I own a restaurant. I don't have to do
I'm
anything.
the boss. I shouldn't have to
Your
listen to anybody.
business is going down.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just the way it goes. I don't care if you're an owner that has 5, 6 stores. You need to go to your stores. You need to work it. You need to work. You can't sit at a desk all day. This isn't that type of atmosphere.
You can't manage like a seagull. You can't fly in,
Right,
shit
yeah.
all over everything, and then fly back out again. That's not being a good leader.
Okay, what was the other post on there? Oh, the tow guy. I
Okay.
got to talk about
Oh,
that.
okay. The tow guy.
Okay, the tow guy. So everybody's saying, oh, I got people blocking up my space, my back door. What do I do? One guy actually chimes in, people are parking in my drive-thru. So as a business person,
Mm-hmm.
you would think, okay, let's call the tow company.
Right.
No, this guy jumps in his truck, hooks up straps, and starts pulling the fucking car out of there.
Right.
All right? For one, you're going to get sued because you're going to wreck somebody's shit. And
Right.
ideally, yes, they shouldn't park there. But, I mean, let's face it. If you can sue and win over spilling a hot cup of coffee over yourself, somebody's going to take everything you own.
Hey, that was an all-wheel drive vehicle, and you just messed up the transmission. So
Yeah, you're buying a new vehicle, whatever the case may be, But I mean, think about it as a leader, as a business owner, as do you want your employees doing stupid shit like that in your restaurant?
oh, because guess what? You just set the bar.
You set the bar high on that.
Exactly. Like, hey, why did you just throw coffee? And why did you give the old lady the bum rush out of here? I'm like,
I mean,
hey, you
I'm
tore
gonna
it.
put butter in the hostess's ass, and we're gonna go in the walk-in. All right, that's
Hey, you
what
towed
you
a
just
guy.
set up. All right, you towed a guy. What, man? I mean, come on, think about it. Be legit. You don't want to get a lawsuit. You don't want to be a fool about this. Call a frickin' tow company.
Right.
It's simple as that. Tow company won't even charge you because they'll charge the person that they towed.
Yeah.
They got to pick up their car somewhere. You put up a sign. You don't even have to put up a sign, especially in a drive-thru. Look, if they're parked in a drive-thru, you don't need a sign. There's fucking paint somewhere. They know they're not supposed to be there.
In all fairness, though, we don't know what this guy's drive-through look like. So if it looks like it's just a parking space, like if his drive-through
like
is something you park
he
and
had
then
a
back
video.
out.
There was like yellow lines and everything.
That's bizarre that just somebody. Well, you know what? It's kind of weird because there is a place that's right next to us now that they just opened up for business, and for the longest time, people have been using that drive-through thing as parking. So I could see that might be a possibility.
Well, I mean, if the place is closed,
Right.
like permanently, fine.
Yeah.
You stopping in there for 2 seconds in the middle of the night when they're not there, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But operating hours, and let's face it, by the back doors and stuff, I don't know how many times I've been in a restaurant or a hotel or something, and you're running out to get something as the manager, owner, whatever else, and you park there, all right? And then, somebody's like, well, what the fuck? Well, what the fuck? I own this space.
Yeah.
But then when you leave, some jackass saw you do it, so they're doing it too.
Right.
But, I mean, come on, man. Tow cables and dragging?
And people get really weird about parking, man. I remember, like in Arizona, that's definitely something to get in a fight over.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, well, step out of your car." I'm like, "Okay, is this what we want to do?" "Oh, get back in your car, asshole." "Oh no,
No, come on.
You've escalated. I'm packing. Good. We'll both get a die. What? Hold on.
Let's see who can draw first.
Exactly.
Oh.
Do you think that you're getting scot-free off of this because you killed me over a parking space? I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I'm going through a divorce right now. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Right?
She's going to get the car anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Do me a favor. After you're done killing me, shoot out the windows. I haven't paid insurance on this thing for 2 months.
Put a bullet right through the block. Yeah, but I mean, dude, come on. Seriously, that's with the tow thing, with all the paperwork and stuff. I mean, honestly, it's people being lazy already in their businesses. You want it to grow, you're going to have to work it. And you're going to have to work it right. And think about what you're doing before you do it.
I think I might be reading into this, which I've done, but I know, right? There's an underlying theme to all of that, I think, is that people are way more in the driver's seat with their own existence than they want to believe that they are, I think.
Yeah.
When it really comes down to it, it's like if I complain about my income or the money that I make, Well, did I do everything that I possibly could to make as much money or to utilize my time the best way? Chances are, no, I didn't. I complained about my weight. Well, did you actually exercise? Have you set up a plan? Have you set up a diet plan? No. Okay, that's something that I could have done. When it comes like I can't get these servers to take, nobody could take this job and takes this restaurant seriously. You're more in the driver's seat. And granted, you can't control what other people feel. Definitely for it, right? But you can't decide what kind of staff you hire. You can't decide how you treat them. You can't decide how you retain them or do your best to retain them. You decide how the restaurant's going to run. You could decide what policies you want to act, how strict they're going to be. Like if you say that there's a 5-minute policy on being late, and if you're late more than 3 times a week, then you do that whole thing where right up, they're gone. Well, if you're going to be lax about that, then you want to know how come like the staff suddenly is unbalanced now because they're pissed off at 2 people who never show up on time when everybody else does.
Right.
Well, who's the one who let that go? They're the leader. They're the ones they have a more active say in how their life is running and how the restaurant's running than they want to believe. So that's something I think, even if you're not a restaurant owner and you're listening to this, that's something that I've been having to deal with over the past couple of years. Is that I'm way more in charge of my life than I would like to think that I am.
True.
And so hopefully that kind of gets across. Now, granted, these episodes are not going on that particular page because the guy who runs that page is like, nope, only me. Only me.
Yeah.
Only my stuff. Well, guess what? If you go to DisJointed Productions or /DisJointed Productions on Reddit, I have a page set up for this. And guess what? If you got a podcast about the service industry too, or retail or something like that, and you want to post it on there.
Or a video,
man, you could totally do that. So I'm not going to be one of those dudes where I'm only going to post my shit on there or our shit or anything like that. You guys could put some stuff on there as well.
We have shit together?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the most part.
I ate Taco Bell.
Yeah, no. Well, it's going to be spicy. Fuck. All right. But yeah, I don't know if there was anything else that we were... was anything else we wanted to cover this week?
Well, I mean, I'm still searching the whole salary thing.
Okay, yeah, there was a restaurant that decided to go just salaries even for their there's no more hourly associates, right?
So the initial place, and I think it was in PA.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was basically going under. He ended up getting a loan from a bank, changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Put all his staff on salary that were full-time employees.
Mm-hmm.
I think the part-timers, it was more like a minimum wage, but his full-time employees, from the dishwasher to the servers to the hostesses, if they're full-time, they got salary. I think he was paying like 28 or 32 a year. Sorry.
Okay.
He did benefits as far as medical, bonuses for sales increase and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Paid vacation. All right. I don't know if they had to pay for half the medical. I don't know how he did that.
Right.
It wasn't read into the article. So within a year, this guy turned his business around and was able to come out of the red. I don't know how far in the red he was.
Right.
Okay. But was able to come out of the red and open up another location. I think within a year and a half, he ended up opening 2 locations. All right. Tips and stuff, as I recall, you didn't have to leave a tip if you wanted to. It all went in a jar, and it was distributed evenly. Now, as he opened the other places, the people that were originally with him as full-time employees, he made an ownership type thing. Okay.
Kind of a co-op then, basically.
Kind of a co-op thing. So, they all had power, from the hostess to the dishwasher to everybody there. If something came up that was wrong, these guys would fix it automatically.
Right.
They the full-time employees didn't matter. Let's fix it, make it right, make the guests happy, period. His price increased a little bit. He promoted people, whatever else. As far as the last time I knew, they're doing really well. I don't think he's expand anymore.
Right.
But I think his turnover, from what I read the first time, his turnover rate, even for his part-time employees, because he would give them more of the tips if there were tips.
Right.
He still gives them vacation.
Okay.
Like I said, the medical thing, I don't know. But in essence, And I don't know how much he's making a month. I don't know how he breaks it down. I don't know how he's able to fucking pay all his employees a decent salary wage. And like I said, it was in Pennsylvania, I think. So I don't think it was a big city.
Okay.
So I think making that amount, kind of worked for everybody. And the more that sales increased, the more that they did, everybody got a chunk of that bonus. Everybody got a chunk of the profit after the bills were paid.
And I think for anybody who's even thinking about an idea like that, one thing to keep in mind is that, like when you mentioned the turnover rate, that probably put a lot more effort into, and actually I'm sure the rest of the staff suddenly cared about who they were letting on.
Well, that's just it. The whole staff cares.
Yeah.
I mean, even from your dishwasher to your host. Normally, you got some teenage host on the phone constantly. Now they actually give a damn.
Right.
Well, yeah, I can make an extra $100 this month by doing my job.
Right.
So I mean, the loyalty factor that this guy created is astonishing. Within a year and a half. Well, I think it was within 2.5 years total. I think that's right. The second year's when they started. But still, within that time, you were able to come out of the red, make so much money that means paying off all your loans, all your equipment, getting everybody on salary, and but execute opening up another location.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
We got to see if we can get that guy on the show.
That would be good.
We'll just do it over Skype or something.
I'm still, like I said, I'm still looking for new information. It's not something.
Yeah, we don't want to get him on and have him. He's like, yeah, the whole thing was a sham. Like, what?
Or a bust or whatever.
Yeah, I was running a Ponzi scheme is what I was doing. You're like, what?
But I mean, if you think about it, you're creating loyalty, something fierce even from your guests, because people want to come to work.
Mm-hmm.
People want to make sure your food's right. People want to make sure the experience is good. Your guests come in constantly for that. And then, you don't have to tip either.
I think one of the other things, one of the things I always tried to do when I was managing was I treated the staff like a bonsai plant. You always had to trim here and stuff like that, right? Not necessarily when I say trim, I don't mean fire folks, but sometimes person A needs a little bit more help today. Why? Because I know if they're having a bad day, that's going to affect person B and person F, right? And then I'm like, okay. Then the next day, I go help this other person out. So that way, it's just constantly, trimming and primping and all that stuff. So that way to make sure the staff, so that way they're always cohesive. Because when they're working together and they're helping each other out, just as suddenly they may not realize it, but suddenly their sales will start going up an extra $50 or another $75, and that leads to another $100 per shift. They're like, "Oh, I'm starting to make extra more money here than usual." I'm like, "Yeah." See what happens when
how it works
when we're all working and stuff. So, those things are constantly overlooked. I'm sure. The thing is, I know there's going to be somebody that looks at that dude's model. And they're going to try it and be like, look, it didn't work. Nobody gave a shit. I'm like, yeah, because you didn't actually work it.
Because you didn't work it, or you didn't set the perimeters right, or parameters, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, for everybody out there in video land, I mean, if you have a situation like that, if you're trying a new scale like that, and honestly, I think it's the way to go. I think no matter what area, how you're doing it, it's the way to go. We need to evolve and change from the 1950s or 1920s style of running restaurants.
Right. That's a big thing that technology is throwing a big monkey wrench in.
We're not evolving because we're still doing the same shit that we've done 100 years ago.
Right.
And so if you're out there, you are running this. If you do listen, chime into the Facebook page or Twitter or any of the other links. Let us know. I mean, we don't need specifics as far as numbers. Tell us what your P&Ls and stuff are. Like that, right? But I mean, let us know how long you've been doing it, how it's working for you. Is it pulling the loyalty? Are your customers happy with it? I mean, there's so much to get out of it, and evolving is gonna eventually. We're gonna have to change to grow.
Yeah, totally. Or even just to sustain themselves. We mentioned in early episodes that the size of like a lot of restaurants and stuff are probably going to get smaller.
A lot smaller.
The ordering apps thing, when we're talking about that, how much I think the only people who are going to survive with that are the ones who are smart enough to not do it as much and set up a specific radius. Which we won't go into that because we talked for that for like over an hour one day, which I'm sure we'll get back to it. Eventually, somebody from Uber Eats or from DoorDash will call, be on the show and be like, "Hey, fuck you guys," But
you guys don't know what you're talking about.
You know what you're talking about. You have to evolve. You evolve, or you're gonna die. Like, really, what are you helping out? It's like the Bar Rescue show. They're like, we're helping all these businesses. You know how many businesses went under? The Bar Rescue supposedly rescued.
You know how many times he's changed his own businesses to give it a new face, new look, new everything?
Yeah, new insurance policy, a new.
We're new. Everybody comes out. You just made a bunch of money really quick on something that, let's face it. If he's owned the same place for 15 years and has done any decent amount of business, place is probably paid off. So you're not paying rent.
Right.
So, that's pocketed.
Yeah.
Let's just keep changing the business instead of making the business work for consecutive amount of years.
And that's definitely that's what a club owner does, and club owners have to do that.
They have to.
They have to because people it's different. But bar owners, it's kind of weird when you see bars switching their thing. I'm like, hey, so what do you do?
Well, and it's very different than the rest of the world, like, because you've been there in New York. There's bars that have been there since beginning of
1800s.
time,
Yeah.
And Timmy or Bobby are clocking in at 2 o'clock as soon as you open or whatever else. But for clubs, oh, yeah, we've been there, we've done that.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Go back. It gets too crowded.
Right.
All right, so we're going to do a new place, and then you're going to shove in, like, cattle anyway.
Yeah. I think I wonder if Webster Hall is still out there. There was a couple of, like, mainstays and stuff, but still even then those kind of switched around, like, back in the 90s.
Hall?
Yeah, I think it was in the East Village.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Or, like, the Brown Room.
Don't remember that one.
I think that's still there.
Oh. I don't know.
Webster
I think
Hall sounds very familiar.
Yeah, that was like the
I
place.
might have been fucked up.
Yeah. What? A chef being drunk in a club somewhere?
No.
The hell do you say so?
So yeah.
That's what we got working on for next week. Hopefully, like I said, we'll be talking a lot about promotions and stuff and seeing what the challenges the fellow wants to be on the show, what he's going through, and so I don't know. It should be pretty interesting, guys. I want to say thanks. Webster Hall is still there. All right, Mr. Divian knows. Nice.
Right on. How do you Greensboro? What do you?
Because
Google.
Yeah.
Google.
Well, on top
My
of that,
bad.
we both because he was my roommate. He's
all
my
right,
brother
all
from
right.
another mother back in New York City. We knew he actually called me up before, like a week before AMDA, before we went there, and he was like, "Hey, do you like playing like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, new best friend. What's going on?"
Did we just become best friends?
I think so. Yeah. So, but yeah, he's a better friend to me than I deserve for sure. So, I appreciate for chiming in there, John. Fam and friends, yeah. So, guys, if it's your first time still out there, nice. Yeah, so either way, follow us at DisJointed Films. That's the main Twitter that I'm using. We got to put a new picture other than the DCPN because that thing is pretty much all done. But I'll have a new page up, or we'll have a new page up for this show. I think I got disjointedfood.biz, but I don't know. I think it's just a redirect right now. But
It's
we're going to
work in progress.
Work in progress and stuff. We're
Bear
on Reddit.
with us.
We're here. If you don't want to watch us on Twitch, it'll be on YouTube where you can watch these things after these things disappear on Twitch. So there's a bunch of stuff, bunch of ways for you to get involved with the show, and we want to hear every bit about it. So thank you so much for checking in. I'm not exactly sure which guest I'm going to have on the Disjointed podcast later in the week, but it should be enthralling. So, and I think that's it.
All right, I'm clocking out.
Clocking out, same here. All right, my side work's done. All right.
Is it?
Mostly. It's signing off for the Disjointed Food Biz. I'm Dave Germain.
Thor Markey. You guys have a good one.
Have a good one.